Restricting access within QuickBooks is really important. Let's go through the procedures of how you can set up a user and how you can limit their access. What I'd like you to note is as we're going through this movie, I have given you a copy of a checklist that you can use to make this process easier. One of the most difficult things about setting user access rights is determining who gets what. On this guide, you can very easily write in your username and then determine each of the areas within QuickBooks, what type of rights will I have. I'll show you then what those rights include and exactly how you can set those up. You will find this documentation on your user rights in the work page area of your CD. Let's go back into QuickBooks and now let's talk about setting it up. I'm going to go up to our Company tab and I'm going to simply go down to Set Up Users and Passwords. When I set up the users, what you will see is a list of everyone that can get into your QuickBooks file. Let's go into Lori and let's talk about setting it up by actually editing a user. I'm going to edit the user and the first screen you'll notice I get to is actually going to be for my username and password. When I go to the next screen, now is where I'm going to choose. Do I get all areas of QuickBooks or selected areas? When I hit Next, when I'm set to all areas, it will ask you to reconfirm, do you really want her to have all of this data? In the case of your administrator, you would say yes. Now be careful with that administrator. Make sure you put that password in a very safe location. The good news though is should you lose that password, there is a method by which you can retrieve it from QuickBooks, and we'll be talking about that later in an upcoming movie. I'm going to say in this particular case no. We want to give Lori selected areas of QuickBooks, and I'll go to the next screen. Now in this case, for each of those sections that we saw on the user right page, I will be asked what type of access do I want. You'll notice, for example, we're in sales and accounts receivable. I can have no access, full access, or selective access. Now on the bottom, and this is probably the most important nowadays, view complete customer credit card numbers. I recommend that you think very carefully about allowing anyone to keep full credit card numbers. Please keep in mind that there are regulations we must follow for the sensitivity of data. My recommendation is to take a credit card number at each transaction and do not store it in your database. Protect the identity of your customers. Do your part to ensure that no one can get a hold of their credit information. In this case, I'm going to say no. Do not view the complete customer credit card number, and I'm going to say I want selective access. You'll notice now it wants to know, can I create transactions? Can I print them? Can I create reports? I'm going to say I can create transactions only and go to the next screen. You'll now notice it takes me to purchases and accounts payables. Same questions. No access, full access, or just selective. In selective this time, under payables, I'll allow myself to see all the reports that are in the background. Next area, checking and credit cards. You'll notice that in each of these areas now, I can go one by one and choose what areas that I need to give to a user. If I want to go full access, I certainly can. If I want to say no access, I can say no access. Once I've gone through all 10 sheets, then I'm finished and I can actually save that data. Now I don't actually want to change my security, so I'm going to simply cancel out. You'll notice that at any given time I can go back in and edit the user. Once again, if we cancel, you'll notice I can go in and view the user. When I view the user, you'll notice it tells me exactly what permissions that I've set up for this individual. Security in QuickBooks is very important. Take the time to think it through, fill in the worksheet, and apply your securities. There's no better way to have a good set of books than to limit access to the books to only the people that really need to see the data.